Hey everybody, what's up? This is the T1 podcast. I'm your host Tyrone Richardson. I am joined today by man, I would say a man who needs no introductions out where we work at, right? But not where we work at. We on a big platform. My man Quentin McDougald. Let me set this up right. Quentin McDougald is our 23-24 Teacher of the Year in New Britain Public Schools. But not only that, he was a semifinalist for the state round, which I think there might have been some malfeasance there in getting the state of Connecticut. But
We can get
Quentin
into that.
is also a bonus nephew of mine. Just so happy to speak. We're doing bonuses now when it comes to that. He is the author of his of a book that he just put out, Beyond the Bell: How Educators Can Lead, Inspire, and Build Business. This just came out, personally autographed for me. Thank you very much, sir.
Yep.
And just over this amount of time that we've gotten to know each other, my man is doing big things. He's going to talk about all that. But welcome, Quentin McDougald. How you doing?
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's a great intro. I love it. I'm doing fantastic. Amazing. I'm honored to be the first guest on your podcast.
Yeah, first guest for sure. Thank you for joining us. We were talking in the background about some of the things that we've done in the past to get where we got to right now. Obviously, I'm a little bit older than you in the game and all that kind of stuff, but you're doing so many things, man, that I can learn from you and I'm just excited to have you on as our first guest. Anybody else wishing to come on, or if you know somebody that needs to come on, man, please just click the link wherever you are. Go to www.teach1publishing.org, hit the podcast section, sign up, and we good to go. So,
Perfect.
We're going to roll with the questions for my man Quentin, man. First of all, thank you again for being here. And our first question was just tell us about yourself, where you were born, where you grew up at, all that good stuff.
No problem. So I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, but I was born and raised, I call it, in Bloomfield. I'm one of those full circle people that, you grow up in a town, and then you always take that turn and come back around to see everything. So it's great in full circle seeing my kids now going through the Bloomfield public schools. But born in Bloomfield, grew up in the Blue Hills area of Bloomfield, went through the school system, Laurel School, Carmen Aries Middle School, Bloomfield High School, class of 2001. Shout out to my Warhawks. That's how I got here. And a little bit about myself, as he said, I'm an entrepreneur, educator, author, newly author, and I like to call it a change maker, a person that makes things happen. So again, I appreciate you for bringing me on today.
Okay, so we talk about Hartford and Bloomfield, that's kind of right next to each other. Oddly enough, I grew up in Hartford, was born and raised in Hartford. That Hartford is the capital of Connecticut. And then I live in Bloomfield now. So my kids came up through some of Bloomfield schools as well, as you did. Bloomfield is kind of like the place we go to when we want to, as we move up in our lives, from Hartford over to Bloomfield to the suburbs to try to raise our families and whatever from some of the difficulties that we had raising up in Hartford. What type of student were you when and give me from elementary to middle to high school?
All right, so this. I'm gonna get into it. I won't get too far, dive deep into this. Overall, I can say I was one of those students that many teachers told me you had the potential to do it, but if you just push yourself, you'd be able to do it. I would start with Laurel. So in elementary school, I was a typical student. I did most of the class, did all the work. I was one of those kids in most honors classes, most AP level classes.
Okay.
But for me, it was kind of like, as a student growing up, I never saw anybody that looked like me. Growing up with my family, it's always just been taught, hey, go to school, go to college. But they never told you what the connection was. Why was college important? It just seemed like it's what society told you, is what you had to do. Middle school, again, I honor student in middle school. I did the work, but I'm always the person to ask the teacher, hey, what's the least amount I can do to get a B? Now, I know I had the capabilities to get an A, but growing up, starting in about sixth grade, that's when my entrepreneurship story started. I was a paper boy. So here I am in Bloomfield.
You gotta get that money,
Yeah, paper boy, Bloomfield, in sixth grade, fifth grade, going to sixth grade. And I did that all through high school, waking up at 5 a.m. to deliver papers in the neighborhood. That used to start with one street, and then I expanded the whole neighborhood, doing the whole thing. So my thing was, also playing basketball growing up. It's kind of like, let me play sports, let me get my money, being a paper boy, and I'll do the work and I can do it. And I would say more to describe myself, I would be the person, the last minute person. Like I can
Okay.
come through in the clutch, tell me when it's due, give me the due date, tell me what I need to get done, and I'll get it done. I'll get it done. High school changed a little bit because then it became, most kids going to high school becomes a little bit more real. I thought it would be more challenging, but it's kind of like, high school becomes the melting pot of all the schools when they come together and you kind of shape your identity. Play basketball again for Bloomfield High School. Um, Ironically, I played freshman and sophomore year, but
Okay.
then junior and my junior and my senior year, because most people love the sport, and I just love the feeling of making a team. I was the person that made the team, only went to tryouts, made a team, and then went to work because that's when my love and education
Wow.
first started. So I was working at the Laurel Elementary Schools at the school program at 16, 15 and a half, 16-ish. So my friends, we all grew up basketball, 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 but here I am, paper route in the morning,
Yep.
then going to school, and then I had a job. So I'm probably the only 16 year old with two jobs.
So you was getting that money back then,
Yeah,
though, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
so a lot of my friends and stuff, they're like, "Hey, why do you keep doing this?" I'm like, "Listen, I like the fact that I can get out of school and get my car and go. Like, it's fun. Basketball's great, but let's
Wait,
be
wait,
real.
wait. Time out. A car? You
A
had a
car.
car?
I bought my first car. I had a car in high school.
Hmm.
So what paper with the paper route money and everything like that, saving my money, putting together. My
Yeah.
parents kind of they threw in at the end, but the majority of the money I saved and put together was for my first car. So now they would say, "Hey, you go." Even the coaches like, "Why are you wasting our time? We know you're going to do this. We know you're going to play." And I was one of those people that was real with myself from the beginning. It's like
Right.
I'm not going to college. I'm not playing college basketball. I'm 5'10" and a half, 5'11".
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know, I'm not going to the NBA where all my friends like, "Oh, I'm gonna go play college ball." And I'm like, "Good for you
Yeah.
guys." But you know what I'm about to do? I'm gonna cash this check every Friday and be about my business. So no matter what, it kind of built that bridge. And again, my first taste of working in the school system or education was working in the after school program.
After school program, man.
After
That's
school
very,
program.
very different. And you were doing that from high school and then going to the elementary school.
Yep. So I would start my day at 5 a.m. as a
Yep.
15 and a half,
Yep.
16, 5 a.m., do the paper route, get ready for school, get on the bus. A lot of times to get that little extra sleep in, I would hop on a city bus to go to Bloomfield High instead of taking a school bus because I
Right.
knew what time and, time management is very important. I learned at a young age, but I can
Wow.
get to school right at the same time. When you pick your classes, okay, let me make sure my study hall is first. I'm really not mixing everything up. Get there when I got there and just go throughout the day, get out maybe what 2:15 whatever high schools get out at now, and then
Mm-hmm.
hop in my car and drive to work.
Trying to work. Man, that's dope. I appreciate you sharing that, man. That's pretty big at that time, especially when you grew up. You went to high school. I want to say you were in high school in the 2000s.
I graduated 2001, so I got to high school in
2001.
'97. So
Okay.
97,
Okay.
2001 in Bloomfield.
Man, that's pretty big to have your own car back then and have that spirit when everybody want to be like Kobe, right? Everyone want to play basketball and do that kind of stuff. So good for you. I'm just like baffled by that. Like I'm not going that route. I'm gonna jump in the car. And it wasn't you, or did you have a group of friends like that? You was just the only
So,
one
if,
that
so all right. So I left out one minor detail. I'll throw it in there
okay.
too. So it was just me. But so I think once I got to junior year, it was paper route, after school program, 3 to 6, and then I was working at Bob's. I just remember Bob's clothing store.
Yeah.
So I'm getting out at 6 on Fridays and the weekends, and now I'm working at Bob's. So I really worked 7 days a week as a
Wow.
16 year
Wow.
old, and it was just
Thank you
like,
for getting it.
yeah, just like for me, like it just kind of clicked. It's kind of like, okay, if I want to do what I want to do,
Yep.
control what I'm able to do, it all comes with dollars, and it's just part of just I wouldn't say the neighborhood I grew up in, but a lot of the music that influenced me is like, okay, if I want to get to this point, I got to be able to work hard and be able to self sustain myself, and be
Right.
able to do it. So
But normally, what I was getting at is normally you have your boys, right? You
yeah,
got your group of friends that kind of do it too. My boy hooked me up with a job at Bob's. My boy is working after school over here. Was it a group of friends or was it just you?
so it was just me, and it would be, hey guys, come on, let's. I got a job for you, and they were like, oh, that's good. I like to sleep in. So a lot of the people in my circle, where a lot of the people sleep in, so educate. It kind of transfers. You always
Everybody
got
has
that
their own,
person.
yeah,
You always got that
yeah.
person that's kind of like, hey, go do it. So they would eventually get a job, but it's in their mind. My friend group, they all thought they were going to play college basketball. I had the realization, like, listen, You got to be real with
I
yourself.
got you. Yeah, no doubt. So talk to me about your teachers along the way, and it could be just one particular teacher that kind of inspired you moving along. Who was your favorite teacher in school?
All right, so I'm gonna go. You gave me the question. I love it ahead of time.
Yep.
I got two, but I'm gonna
Okay,
go.
that's fine.
I'm
That's
gonna
fine.
flip it on you. All
Yep.
right, so my favorite teacher, one of my favorite teachers, because I had a lot of teachers that left with different impacts. I'll go most impactful versus favorite. Um,
Okay.
Bobby Gibson. So Bobby Gibson, our state representative, he also helped me when I put together my presentation for the stage for New Britain, going back to school at CCSU.
Yeah.
He was my seventh grade science teacher. So up until seventh grade, I didn't know black people talk. Didn't know it.
Oh,
Didn't know.
wow.
Didn't know it. Didn't know it was a
Wow.
thing. And then, shout out to him. I want to show his age, but I think that's right. He was early, fresh out of school, just doing
Yeah,
it,
early
not
fresh out of
really
school.
kind of knowing what he was doing, but he knew
Yeah.
what he was doing. But to me, it was so cool because he loved working out even from back then, and him and my father would kind of work out together. And then at the
Well,
time,
you
I
showing
think
his age. You just said him and his
yeah,
father.
no, no, no. But my father's much older than him.
I
But
got you.
they
I
both
got
enjoyed. And then at the time, it was really cool because he used to talk about, I guess his wife at the time worked at 89.9, a radio station. I love
you.
music. I'm like, this is pretty cool. But then
Yeah.
it hit me. It was like, all right, just because he looks like me, he's not gonna be lenient. He's not gonna let me slide. He's gonna be,
Right.
he's gonna hold me to a different standard. And these conversations I enjoyed growing up, even though sometimes I was kind of reluctant to. I don't want to hear about that. Like, listen,
Right.
I'm black, you black. Come on, just let me get through it. That type of thing.
Yeah.
But even to this day, I actually had a text message from him about the book that I just put out. He gives me those words of wisdom. He gives me the advice. He's always kind of navigating behind the scenes, kind of being rooting for me, but also at the same time, just kind of just watching. So he was one of probably the first most impactful person, positively. Now the
So
second,
hold up. Don't go to the second teacher yet, because I do want to shout out Bobby Gibson, right?
okay, go ahead,
I
go
know
for
Bobby personally, so shout out to Bobby for being your seventh grade science teacher. Bobby was one of my science teachers
it.
in
Okay,
my school when I was a principal. So one of my
okay,
K-8 schools, he was one of my teachers in that building. So no, love Bobby. Bobby's out here representing us in Bloomfield as well.
yeah.
So shout out to Bobby Gibson. Just want to say I know him too.
Oh,
And
listen.
he's a good brother as well. I'm just shocked that you didn't have any teachers of color coming up like that. I went to school in Hartford growing up, and I had a lot of black female teachers, but I got to see people that looked like me in that role. We'll get into that a little later too. But who's your second teacher?
So, the second is most impactful, but I'm gonna give it on a negative spin. So I'm not gonna give that
Don't be
person any
saying
light.
those. Yeah, we ain't gonna
I'm
shout
not
nobody.
shouting him out,
But
but hopefully he's watched. You'll see this one day. So I had a math teacher. So now again, I'm the type of student I can get the job done. I'm the type of student taking calculus in high school. Now, I had a teacher that was doing pre-cal. I call it pre-cal just to
yep,
save face so people
yep.
don't draw the lines.
I got you
So
trying
I
to
had
figure out who that is.
Yeah, so I had a pre-cal teacher. Now this particular teacher, again, like I said, I would take the city bus whenever I get there, whenever I needed to do there, whenever I needed to get to school if I didn't catch the bus.
Yep.
But I had him as the second period. So now second period, I would already be in school, study hall, coming in, go to class. I would get to class, but I was the type of work I'd get the work done. So then one day he came, he had a conversation with me because I'm tired. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. So I get to class, I'm kind of there, kind of sleepy a little bit, that type of thing. Then one day he called me out in front of class. He goes, "What?" He goes, "Let me ask you." I'm like, "Go for it," because I'm the type, I was one of those students. Like, listen,
Yeah.
I'll go. We'll play
We'll
chess
have
all
that
day.
dialogue. Let's
We'll,
do
we'll play chess all day. We're gonna do this. All right, let's do this. He goes, "Let me
it.
ask you something. Why? Most of these kids in here, they're doing what they need to do, but you decide to take a nap, and then you come in here, you're never prepared." And I'm like, I was one of those students that, which is very important as an educator, knowing the different, whether you're a visual learner, kinesthetic learner, or a auditory learner. I'm an auditory learner and a kinesthetic learner, so I could just be sitting there drawing, but I actually paying
But you
attention.
paid attention.
Paying
Right.
attention. So back then, I guess they really didn't value that. But either
Yeah.
way, so one day he told me in front of the class, he goes, it makes me an example. See this? This is right here. This person right here in class, Quentin McDougald, he's a complete waste of space, and I don't even know why he comes to class. I don't know why he makes it to school every day. If you're going to come to
One of
school,
those.
yeah, you're gonna come to school and waste our time and everything. Meanwhile, I'm getting good grades on the test. So,
Right.
and then I go, well, it's funny because the past couple of tests I've been getting A's and B's, but that's
Yeah.
not a problem. He said, yeah, you don't do your homework. I said, I actually do my homework. I said, and I handed that to end of class versus beginning of the class. I said, because you never specified when I had to turn it in. And he's like, yeah, see, this is the problem with, and it was the you people conversation before the
Right.
you people
Right.
conversation.
Oh boy.
So he was like, yeah, he'll never amount to anything. And he told me to my face, he's like, listen, you're wasting your time. You probably won't graduate from Bloomfield High School, so, just save yourself the trouble and you just not, just don't show up to this class. It's okay.
Right.
It's fine. So that was, I think, one pivotal moment in high school when the light turned on. And
Yeah.
then he was my first line of fuel to power through, because even to this day, going to school, even at Slade, I started at Slade as a language arts and a science teacher,
Yep.
but my background's in math.
Okay.
So going to college and everything, my background's in math because I'm a math guy, like numbers, money, statistics, all that stuff like that.
Money. You've been making money since you was
Yeah,
10.
so I'm like, yes, listen, pre-cal, all right, cool, gotcha. So then from there, I would just blow everybody out test wise, and that's where my first start of love for math came from, because I always had that chip on my shoulder, like, you know what, I'm going to show him how great I can be at math, because he told me this and told me I couldn't make it, I'll never make it. So
Right.
that sparked me to my love for math at that point. So
Yeah.
those are the two most important. And so it's a long way to say. Those are my not favorite, but most impactful teachers that I had growing up.
For sure. I got you. And again, seeing a black face in school, I don't want to go that route all the time. Let me
Yeah,
back up from that.
yeah.
Let's go to just how you got into education. So did you know in high school that you wanted to be an educator? How did you go from high school to college? What did you major in, and how did you get to that educational path?
Oh, this is the beauty of this. This is the beauty of the book right here. I'm gonna give, so
Okay.
for those of you that don't have the book, I'll break this down for you. A little tidbit. So in high school, graduated, didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to make money. I'm a
Yep.
money guy, so of course, I'm going to school for business. Going for school
Yep.
business, what I'm going to do.
Business.
I started at UConn. Went to UConn. I went to the branch, as they call it. I don't know. I don't even. It doesn't exist today, but the UConn branch in West Hartford. So I went there,
Okay. Yep.
and it worked out well because um, being in the after school program at Laurel, I found a way, because my brother and sister, younger brother and sister, they were in a Montessori school, so there was an opening for their after school program. But my original college choice was to go to Howard, and I had a
Okay.
scholarship, a partial scholarship to go to Howard. But I thought about it. Okay, growing up, I like to make money. I didn't like to be broke. I had to weigh everything. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna stay at home because my youngest brother and sister are younger, and out of high school, I'm making $21 an hour. So I'm like, okay, $21 an hour. All right, I'm gonna do this. So that's
Yep.
when I was going to school. So I started school with a business major in marketing. So my thing was, I'm gonna get a marketing major, and it was one of those things where it's like I'm going to school during the day, going to the school, working in Montessori Magnet School in Hartford in the evening, and then the second year I was there, I decided to take a full time position because I'm like, okay, $21 an hour, now I could make more money, and then
Right.
because by then I'm living on my own. Me and one of my friends, we had our own apartment. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, so. That second year I'm doing it, I'm still at UConn so I'm taking night classes. That's when I got introduced to night classes. So it's school about teaching, as a para during the day, and then
Yep.
at night, going to school, going to class, getting out of class I'm the 9:40 person at the end of the class going to classes. So then I did that for the first year, loved it. Third year, I got to it. And then it was the end of the school year. And as I talk about, in previous platforms that I've been on, my principal at the time, Tim Nee, he passed away, rest in peace,
Yep.
Tim Nee. He brought me into his office and he said, listen, here's the hard thing about education. At the end of every school year, there's something called budget cuts. And I'm like, what is a budget cut? I don't know.
You got that
Tell me what that
conversation.
means.
Yeah.
He goes,
Yeah.
well, budget cuts are when we got to get rid of positions. I go, hey, I'm good, right? Because, my lifestyle is accustomed to working full time. And he
Right.
goes, listen, he brings me into the office. We sit down, and he goes into a file cabinet, pulls out the file. And he goes, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. And he pulls it out, and in there is a salary scale. It's the first time I was ever introduced to a teacher salary scale. So now he's going through every teacher in the school. He goes, this person's been teaching this long. This is how it works. This is how much they get paid. So he literally goes through every single teacher in the school, and at the end of each explanation, he goes, "You're better than that teacher. You can do this better than that. You do this better than that.
Shout
You
out
do
to
this
Tim
better
Neef
than
for
that."
that. I
Yeah.
love
So
that.
he's going through because listen, we had these conversations, him and I, and he goes,
Yeah.
long story short is you're wasting your time. I see your talent. I see what you did. I see what you do. I see you can work with any type of student because at that particular year, I took on the special education para, but
Yeah.
we couldn't keep a special education teacher. So me being a self starter, I learned everything I needed to know about special education. So a lot of the PPTs meetings we would go into, I can say it now because
Right.
I would
You
go in.
legally, I can say it now.
I can say it
Easily.
now. I prepared a lot of those IEPs because I learned how to do it because he kind of took me and showed me how to do it. So I
Yeah.
would prepare these for these IEP meetings that we would have with special education meetings. And I would sit in there as the para and they would put another teacher of the homeroom teacher in. But the special education component, we kind of smoke and mirror thing of education.
Yeah.
So he's like, listen, I threw everything at you that I possibly could and you could do it. He's like, there's no reason why you're wasting your talent. So then he goes to, and then he goes at the end when this is what you make, and he's like, and you're wasting your time. So he gives me the ultimatum. He goes, listen, I told you about the budget cut at the beginning of this conversation. I can get rid of you. I can keep you. Now, if I get rid of you, it's not because I don't love you. I'm
Right.
getting rid of you because you're wasting your talent, and I need you to switch
Yeah.
your major because you should go into education. So at that time, I'm thinking time to switch my major. So literally, I was junior year, finishing up junior year. At that point, I had switched to Central CCSU
Yeah.
and switch majors just like that because of him, that conversation, and that's what sparked and started my education journey because of that conversation he had with me. Because I'm like, I wanted to keep my full time job. Here's a guy that's clearly explaining to me why because I didn't see this in myself because I didn't see black male
Yeah.
educators. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, all right, if he sees it so strongly, let me go into do it. And then once I got to education classes, because nothing ever transfers over that neatly in college. I
Yeah.
ended up at the end majoring in elementary education, specialization in math, and a minor in marketing. So that is how
Wow.
I got into because I had enough marketing classes and business classes. And again, I'm
And you said what school were you working at then? What was that school?
the Montessori Magnet School in Hartford.
So it was Montessori Magnet School. Is that where you met Damon, or you knew Damon just from
That
there?
is where I met Damon. So I was the funny story real quick about Damon is I was there before Damon, but
Yeah.
everybody came in and they thought we were the same person, ironically. But
So it's the black, it's
it's
that black
listen,
man
black,
came in there like
same type of
cousin.
haircut, and
Yeah.
it was funny because him and I, we laugh about it to this day. Him and I, we didn't like each other because I'm like, wait, why
Yeah.
are you comparing me to this guy?
You stepping on my turf.
Yeah, like so we didn't
Yeah.
finally one day we're just staring at it. We're eating lunch and we just like because we had mutual people that we knew and we just started laughing. I'm like, what are we doing here?
What's going on? So I
Yes,
want to shout out Damon Roberts too. That's like a bonus cousin of mine.
yes, you got a lot of
Um,
bonuses, man.
For sure, yeah, a lot of bonuses, but we love bonuses. We
Yeah,
should all be. That's why we network, and you find out about people. You're like, damn, man, like the mom brother and my brother used to roll back in the day. Our families used to roll. It was one of those things where we just became cousins without really being blood cousins.
yep,
So
exactly.
that's
So
my
yeah,
bonus little cousin right there.
so that's
So
how
shout
I
out
got
to
into
Damon.
education, and
Yeah, that's dope.
and
That's dope.
then the turmoil of student teaching kicked in, and then that's when another pivotal moment. But we discussed that if you want to talk about that.
So we know why you changed your major,
Yep.
right? And you got into education, and that's something that you wanted to do. Right now, you are the Slade Middle School technology teacher,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
For grades 6 through 8.
6 through 8. Yep.
So was that where you originally started as a technology teacher? I thought you said you were a science teacher to begin with.
Science. So it was ELA/science. That weird mix. I don't know why, but ELA. I had to learn how to do that and science, and then that's when we were a smaller learning community. So it was a two.
So where'd you start your teaching career? Was it at Slade Middle School?
That's my student teacher. I never left.
Okay, so talk about that. Let's get into that.
All right, got you. What do you want to know about?
So Slade Middle School did. So you got out of college.
Yep. Okay.
And you ended up in New Britain.
So yeah, so that's the funny thing. So all the accolades and love I get in New Britain is amazing, but the behind story is I fought so hard not to go to New Britain because it's a funny story because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to student teaching, And
Hmm.
I'm like, you know what? Get me back to Bloomfield. I want to go back to
I
Bloomfield.
know
I'm
that's
from Bloomfield.
that's what
Get
people
me back to
normally do.
Bloomfield. If you can't get me to Bloomfield, get me to Hartford. And they're like, no.
Yep.
Like, why not? Like, it's the same population to go to New Britain. I'm like,
Yep.
nah, I don't know. So they give you the recommendations. You can write down where you want to go.
Yep.
I did the smaller versions of student teaching at different locations. I'm like, okay, they put me in West Hartford. Okay, they put me in, where was I? I don't know, Berlin or somewhere. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything because at the end of this thing, they're going to put me in Bloomfield or Hartford. So they're like, all right, you're in New Britain. I'm like, okay, fine. This is where it is. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. So I started at Slade Middle School. So
Okay.
currently, I'm still at Slade Middle School. So I have never left. I did my student teaching at Slade Middle School.
Yep.
Um, I had a lot of controversy at Slade Middle School with student teaching. Uh,
Yep.
do you want me to get into that, or you want me to?
Well, no, I mean, whatever it is you need to do, you ended up as student. You starting with student teaching. I
So
know a little bit about this story. You talked about it when you was, receiving your award
okay.
for Teacher of the Year. So yeah, get into it. Let people
All right.
know
So
what happened to
listen,
you.
listen. This is
People
a
always
perfect.
trying to knock you down, man. What's
This is
going
this
on
is
with that?
this is the perfect platform to be on. So if you're a teacher
Yep.
watching and you have accolades, this is the place to be because you can be yourself.
Yep.
So
That's right.
student teaching starts off like this. So again, as I talked about, I was already teaching full time at the Montessori Magnet School as a para during the day. So special education
Hmm.
para, regular para, whatever they need. I was a jack of all trades. You need somebody to be the librarian. Hey, guess what? I'm the librarian. So I had many roles in the school because part of my own personal journey is I like to learn every single thing. I'm the teacher even to this day. I'm gonna be best friends with the custodian, the secretary, the people that really do get the grunt work done in schools. Where a lot of educators they don't want to be. If you're not an educator, they don't want to have a conversation with you. So I appreciate all the paras and everybody else that plays their role and their part in the school because without them it would not happen. So
Thank you.
I
Appreciate
get
that.
to
Yep.
yeah definitely. So I get to student teaching. So it was a summertime, summer going into it. I'm at the school program. I'm the summer program guy. So now I'm leaving work, khaki pants, polo shirt on, and here it is. CCSU get there, and we're talking about hey. You're gonna meet your advisor. So I'm getting there. I get there a little bit late because again I'm coming from school, coming from work, and I'm looking at everybody choosing an advisor, and I'm looking at all the lists, and then I hear a lot of whispers. It's the classic TV show. Oh, so I'm like, what is going on? And they're like, oh, you got her, and I'm like, who's her? It's like, yeah,
Yep.
you got her. Good luck with her because she doesn't like anyone. And I'm like, okay, well that's fine. All right,
Wow.
who's her? So now let me I'll preface this by saying every group of is probably I want to say 40 of us there, 40 total people.
Yep.
Every advisor has at least 4 or 5 people except me. I'm the only one-on-one with advisor. So I get there. Find out where this woman is. Look at her. Hey, how you doing? I'm Quentin McDougald. She goes, oh, I know who you are. I said, okay, no problem. She goes, let me tell you now, you're not going to bring your homeboy talk to here, to student to education. And I'm looking at her
What year
like,
was this?
huh?
What year was this? 2005.
This was 07, 07, 06, 07, around the time.
You're not gonna bring your homeboy talk?
Homeboy talk. And I said, okay, what is homeboy talk? You
Mhm.
people talk. I'm like, okay, that's strike two. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm like, hey, I know, let me student teaching, let me get this thing. All right, so I engage. Okay, all right, thank you. I'm not sure what you're talking about. And then the next thing she goes, well, just know you're not going to be dressed like this. You're going to have to dress professional. Now, again, I came from working in a school. I literally get out the
Right.
car and I'm here.
Right.
And I'm looking around. I'm like, wait, they have flip flops on. There's a tank top. I said, I'm the
Yeah.
most
What
professional
we
dressed
doing?
person in here. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's what you got. That's what you people like to do. Like to boast and brag. And I said, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, hey, I'm listen. And she goes, yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't think you're gonna make it anyway. But I just took you on because they told me that it was this kid. And I'm like, okay. Again, I'm not a kid at this age. Like, okay.
I
So
feel
you're
you, but
calling
I
me
just
a
don't know
kid. I
how we
mean,
let people like this
yeah,
work
so
in
yeah,
education.
so it was that. So then that conversation. So then I left that conversation this summer. Then went to my principal and said, "Hey, let me run this by you." He goes,
Hmm.
"They said what to you?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "But because he always had my back." I said, "Don't worry about it. I got this."
Hmm.
So now at that particular time in the program, because CCSU is completely different from now than what it used to be, they explained to us that prior to meeting our advisor that when they came in to do observations, you had 5 observations. In those observations, would be the only time that you would have to write up a formal lesson plan and you'd be assessed.
Yep.
Talking to her, I'm like, hey, okay. So she was like, so you have any questions? I'm like, okay, what format do you want me to type it? You want me to handwrite it? I said, because I overheard every conversation. She goes, oh, no, forget about that. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? She's like, oh, no, every day you're going to write a lesson plan. And she showed me her template. Here's my template. Boom, 7 pages. So 7 pages per, I was like, okay, this is nice. So this is only when you come. She's like, no, you're going to do this every single day. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait, there's a reflection piece on there. I said, how can I do a reflection if I'm just teaching? She's like, you got to figure it out. And she's like, and I need this done. She's like, Slade gets out at 3. Okay, this needs to be done. I need this by 3:45 every single day. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Setting up barriers to make it impossible.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. Right. So I do the first one. I'm working with my cooperating teacher. I'm like, hey, I came from this. Oh, backtrack. So when I first get to Slade, I thought I met Mr. Fernandez, but he quickly corrected me. Yeah, it's Fernandez. It's Fernandez. I said, well, it says Fernandez. He's like, no, it's Fernandez. So that's how we first met. Love the guy to this day, but that was a funny story how we met. So I'm going in there. I got my book. So I got my book, my lesson plans. I'm filling it out because, it's a transitional period. So I called her on the phone and said, hey, listen, student teaching is set up that I'm supposed to watch and then, then integrate myself into the classroom. She goes, oh, no. Whatever lesson he has, you need to do that lesson and you need to write a reflection. I said, but I didn't do the lesson. He goes, no, reflect on how he did it. And I said, well, I'm just learning how to do this. Like, what do you want me? Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Ask him how to do it. So I started writing my lessons every single day based on his lessons before everybody had to do it.
Right.
So now when she first comes to do her first observation, she gets there and then she's like, oh, well, she comes so back up. I first get there. I pull up to school. Now, talking to my cooperating teacher, I'm like, what time do you get here? He said, I get here by 7:20. You'll be fine. So I get there about my normal 7:20 time, and she's sitting in the classroom. Before the teacher even gets it, she's sitting in the room. I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? She goes, you're late. And I'm like, well, this is the time I normally come. She's like, you're late. This is what they say about your people. You guys are always late, never on time. Yeah, I'm like, wait, what people? The teachers? Like, what are we talking about? Because I'm trying to, lighten the situation. I know what you're talking about, but okay. Right. So she's like, I'm like, all right, so this is the formal one. And she's like, yeah. And I looked through your lesson plan book. And she goes, and she gives me a sticky. She goes, these dates are not done. I never got these. You need to get these done to me by 4:00 today. And I'm looking through them and I'm like, wait. These are ones he did, and he never finished the lesson because we had an assembly or something. She's like, well, you got to hand them in. Those are due too. So I'm like, she gives me this walking in. I'm like, all right, so I'm going over the lesson I'm going to do today. Now, mind you, this is about by week 2 of my student teaching situation. I call it a situation. Things happen within the school where my cooperating teacher was going to be elevated to the VP. So we knew, hey, if this works out, I'll get this job. He'll be VP, and we'll make it look nice. And so, in order to prep this, I worked constantly, very hard. The first 2 weeks or 3 weeks of school, the principal would come in and watch because my cooperating teacher said, "Listen, this guy's got it." So he would come in.
You was getting extra feedback along the way.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, he got it." They would send different people in. Hey, take a look at this guy. And I asked him, I said, why are y'all doing this? He said, oh, no, we see you got it. It's like, you can, okay. So I already had the feedback. They already told me from week 3, like, listen, this is what's going to happen. You got the command. I'm like, you got the experience. You know what to do, kind of looking at everything. And I had already changed the way he was teaching because I saw the way he was teaching in a particular classroom. And then I decided to talking to the kids, and the kids were like, yeah, this is the easiest class ever. I'm like, why? They was like, oh, because we only have to do X, Y, Z. I'll leave that blank. I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, you know what? Nah, you guys are really not learning too much. Let me do it my way. So going backwards. So now we go back, and now she's looking at it. She's like, yeah, this is the lesson. How are you going to do it? I'm like, this is the way I'm going to do it. Now, before, this might have been a Thursday. I don't know. I'm throwing it out. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we drew it and worked on this lesson for this day. So she's only supposed to come in and do 15 minutes, kind of watch the feedback and leave. Yep. So again, like I said, she was at the school before me in my classroom, like at the time. So I'm sitting there watching. So she's there. I'm like, well, what time are you going to leave? You going to come back? Like, I'm not going to teach this lesson. She's like, no, I'm here all day. So now I'm there in the classroom, and it's kind of awkward because she's just sitting there staring at me. And then now when I'm having conversations and engaging with students stuff that don't look like me or not the same hue of me, I'll call it that way, she would quickly come over and tap me and go, "Oh no, work with these kids over here. Don't work with those kids. You're gonna mess those up." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? They're all the students in the classroom." She was like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Yeah," and I saw that you gave it like a fist, like I don't know what kind of sign that is you'd use in your neighborhood. But yeah, we don't do that in education. I'm like, this is a fist pump. Like, what are we talking about?
Wow.
What are we talking about? She's like, yeah, but she said, I wrote it all down. Don't worry about it. So, so we go through the day. I'm at lunch. So now it's lunchtime. And she's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm about to go get some food. I'm about to go heat it up. She's like, all right, hurry up and come back. She's like, yeah, you don't have time to eat. You don't need to eat right now. You need to get ready, get ready for the lesson. I'm like, yeah, but this is my scheduled lunchtime. Like, I got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
She like, see, that's wasting time again. That's what you guys like to do. So I'm like, okay. So she stays the entire day, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna meet you in the staff lounge at the end of the day. So I talked to the principal. I'm like, hey, yeah. He's like, how'd it go? I'm like, probably great. She stayed the whole day. Yeah, she didn't say anything to me. Yes, she said some troubling
She
things to
said some
me.
stuff.
Yeah, she said
Right.
troubling things to me. So I'm like, but we'll see how this goes. So he's like, oh yeah, go ahead and go meet with her. I'm like, anything I need to say? He said, no, just go. He's like, I've seen you in action. He's like, I've brought everybody in here. Like, we know what you do.
Yeah.
So I go in there, sit down with her, and first thing she goes, so how do you think it went? And I'm like, well, how do you think it went? She goes, well, no, you start first. And I'm like, well, I said, I think it was good. I think I need to tweak this right here. I said, but that's a wonderful thing about education. I can go back and reteach that part there. I said, right. You were only supposed to see ELA, but you saw some science. And I was like, that science was really good because I saw the kids' interest, and that's why I changed it and did it that way. A little the same curriculum, but I kind of put my own spin on it because I see what the kids like and because I know the interest of the kids. She's like, okay, yeah, that's good. And I'm like, okay. She's like, so she takes a notebook. She goes, all right, so let me give you my feedback. She goes, you smiled at the kids. That was a positive. Okay, it's all right. Let's start there. Okay, that's working out. She goes, you knew some kids' names. Okay. She goes, that's it. I'm like, what do you mean that's it? She's like, all right, then I'm gonna tell you what you didn't do. So she went from 3:15 to 5 o'clock, drilling down everything I didn't do. She told me things like people like that look like you are wasting your time. You should never be in teaching. She told me that if you're really teaching's not for you, you're wasting your time. She told me that, hey, if you really want to connect with your homeboys, go work in the Boys and Girls Club in your hood. She told me that I don't know why you choosing to work with kids of a different hue, because.
And at this time, you ain't recording any of this.
No, I can't. This is like, listen. Huh?
But you did report it.
No, I didn't, because I'm like, listen, I already talked to the principal. I'm like, listen, he's like, this is your job. I'm like, listen, I'll put up with this.
I'm just riding through it. I'm gonna put up with this.
Listen, I kept a notebook. So I wrote, I kept a notebook. So she told me all those things, and like, yeah, like anything you could possibly say that's racially charged, she said it to me.
Right.
She said it to me. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, let's recap. Let's go back. Did I do anything right? She goes, again, I gave you the things you did right, but she's like, yeah, I don't think you're going to make it. I'm going to tell I don't think you're going to make it. Like, I'm going to tell the person now who's in charge of placements, like, yeah, he's not going to make it. So I left there, and then went home, talked to my fiance wife now. Like, hey, Liz, she's like, how'd it go? I'm like, yeah, like, I don't think she should have said things like that to me. But, so then I come in the next day. And the principal, he calls me on the way to work. He's like, hey, stop in my office before you come. And he goes, how did it go? And I'm like, listen. He goes, I was like, she kept me till 5 o'clock. He goes, I know. And I'm like, how'd you know? He's like, because I don't leave this building until I'm the last one to leave. He's like, I want to make sure every teacher gets out of here safely before I leave.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. He's like, so I need to make, he was like, she said, what? I'm like, yeah. Like, she said this. And then he was like, yeah, but you did the lesson in front of me. I saw you. He's like, you even did this part. And I'm like, yeah, I did everything scripted. Like, we sat there, and he goes, all right, well, next time she comes, I want to be in the room. So I'm like, okay, fine. That's fine. So I let her know. And I'm like, hey, next observation you come, I need, he wants to be in a room. She's like, oh, that's fine. I'm going to bring in the person in charge of student teaching placement. She's going to come in there too. Another woman, of a different hue. They come in. So now, because I made this statement to them about, hey, I don't think this is right. Now, every single day, they would just drop in randomly, the two of them, just to take a look at that book, make sure I have my lessons in. So now, when I finished student teaching, no lie, I had about those 6-inch binders. I had like 4 of them filled, stacked, of lessons, reflections of everything. So she comes to the second observation. So she sits there. So now it's like a 2-on-2. I'm like, all right, this is matched up. I got my cooperating teacher, I got my principal, we got the head of CCSU's student teaching department, and my advisor. We're good. So I go through, we practice, I got it, nailed it, everything. They're giving me thumbs up. They kind of like pointing, like kind of helping me out throughout the thing. They're like, yeah, you're good. I'm kind of giving them looks because they're looking at me. I'm like, they're like, just keep going. So then we leave that. So again, they stayed for, I don't know. Again, it's only supposed to be 15 minutes. They ended up staying for half the day. So we go into the principal's office, and he goes, all right, this is what we're gonna do. He goes, let's go this. He goes, you go first because he's I hear you like to make lists, so you go first. So she goes, oh well, he didn't do this. He goes, well, actually at 9:37 because I timestamp everything. He did this, and I saw him did this, and this is what he said. This is it. And she goes, and then the other one goes, okay, boom. So now they're going ping pong everything he's doing. He has a contradiction to everything they do. So he's like, yeah, no, he actually did this and he did this. He's like, do you have this on your list? And he goes, and then they go, well, fine, where's your list? He goes, I don't have to have a list. I've seen him teach before. He's like, I've seen him teach. I acted as one of his students in the classroom. And he's like, the stuff that you guys are saying to him, it's crazy. And he was like, and we're going to have a conversation about this. And so they had me leave, and I don't know what they talked about from there.
Right.
So now I'm like,
he had your back,
yeah.
though.
So then they're like, I hear what you're saying, but he failed this observation too. So now it's like, all right, I'm down 2. I'm down 0-2 in a 5-game series. I got to get all 3. So at that point, I'm like, listen, told him, I said, listen, I thank you for helping me. I said, I gotta figure out something. So I went home that day, and then that's why it's always important to document everything. I went and took that notebook, and I took that notebook of everything she ever said to me, and I just started typing a long email and document everything. It ended up being about 7 pages, and I hit send. Didn't care. Now that email went to the mayor at the time.
Okay, good. So you did report it.
Oh, yeah. It went to the mayor.
Okay, all right.
It went to the newspaper in New Britain. It went to It went to the superintendent. It was the biggest, like any professor I ever had at CCSU, the dean of education, the president, and in that thing, my aunt was a last time. My wife, my aunt is a lawyer, and you'll be hearing from her. So the first thing, so I get to school. And then the principal, he's like, hey, that was some email you sent. He's like, you got some on you. He's like, but I love it. So I'm like, what happened? He's like, yeah. He's like, it was Dr. Kurtz at the time. Dr. Kurtz is on her way down to come talk to you about this. And he was like, I'm like, all right, cool. So I went, she came, she's like, they said all this. So now the media is calling the school, like, hey, what's going on? Like XYZ. So she calls me, my advisor calls me, like, what do you think you're doing? Who do you think you are? And I said, no, I need a meeting. I need a meeting with the dean of school of education. Now, this is where relationships are always important, because the dean at that time was one of my first professors that I had 2 separate classes in education when I first started. So I'm a person that loves relationships, and every professor that I ever had, I would email them at the end of class, hey, what are you doing this summer? Hope you have a great summer. And then when class, even if I didn't have them, I would always email them, hey, how was your summer? What's going on? I can't wait for the school year, XYZ. So come to find out, she became the school. So I go meet with her. She's a dean of education. She goes, tell me about this email. So I give her all the information. She's like, this is crazy. She's like, I know you personally. She's like, you're the person that sends me the emails and asks me how my kids are and all this stuff like that. She goes, all right, do me a favor. Go sit in the room over there. She's on her way. So the advisor comes in there. So she comes rushing in there. Did you see this email? Do you believe him? The ball's on him. Do you think that? And this is why people like him shouldn't teach. She stops. She goes, whoa. What are you talking about? She goes, yeah, he's a liar. Everything he said, he's a liar. She goes, oh, well, actually, he's not lying. And she goes, what do you mean? You're going to take his side? She goes, actually, Quentin, come on here. So now in her face, the look on her face, golden. It's like you saw a ghost. And she was like, listen. And then she said, this guy right here, he emails me. I met him when he first started school education. He all the professors, they like this guy because he sends emails, he asks about them. And for you to ever say something about him, and I know he works at a Montessori school because he would ask me about tips that he could use in the classroom and different things like that. She was like, listen, he said, if you ever speak to him again, you're going. And then she told me, and then she gave me another, she reassigned, and she had some words. I don't know what happened, but let's just say that advisor disappeared. She disappeared. Never saw her again. No one ever saw her again. Never saw her again. So then she replaces it with another advisor, Dr. Love. Shout out to Dr. Love. He's still there, I think now. So he comes in the first day, And he's like, yeah. So I met with him in West Hartford. He's like, yeah, tell me about this. He's like, yeah, I read this email. He's like, this is crazy. He's like, in this year of 2000, whatever it is. He's like, people are
Yeah.
really thinking like this. I'm
Really
like,
still thinking
I'm
like
like,
that.
yeah, they're still. He's like, that's crazy. He's like, so I'm gonna come and watch the observation. So he gets in my observation. He gets there. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna come watch and figure out what's going on. So he comes. So in the middle of the observation, he comes up. He gets up. He comes over to me. He goes, "You like coffee?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I'm in the middle. He goes, "Okay, what kind of donuts you like?" And I'm like separate questions in the middle of my lesson. I'm like, "Oh man, this
Right.
is not good." like, so
Okay.
so then he goes and comes. He goes, "All right." So he writes it down and sits back down. So then he goes, "All right, you got a break. This is your playing period. I'll be right back." He comes back with donuts, and I said, "All right, so give it to me straight. What's going on? Because
Right.
if this is the one, then I gotta like." He's like, no. He's like, no. We're just gonna sit and talk. He was like, I saw what I needed to see the first 5 minutes you were here. He's like, I don't know what she's talking about. He's like, by a formality, I'm gonna come to the other dates. He's like, I'm passing you. Like, this is crazy. He was
Yeah,
like,
you're good to go.
yeah, he was like,
You
this is
don't need
crazy.
to
So
finish these
from
anymore.
that point, it was like, okay, so I passed it. So again, I was down 0-2 in the 5 game series and every single observation. And then from that, it became history. And then it's crazy because even walking across the stage, it was about 16 people of color, male and female. And when we walked across the
Right.
stage for graduation, there was only 3 of us that were certified. That's
Wow.
it. So from there, and I'm still at Slade. So ever since then, that's my story. I got to
So how long has that been at Slade?
it's going into year 19. 19.
Year 19.
19.
Wow.
So, I'm one of the
In one building. And so right now, so first of all, let's talk about Slade Middle School.
yep,
So you're in Slade Middle School in New Britain, Connecticut.
yep,
There's about 700 students in that school, 700 to 800 students, one of our bigger middle schools
yep.
in the state of Connecticut. And in the times and day right now, how important is it for you to be a black male teacher in that role?
Oh, it's the greatest thing in the world. It's the greatest thing in the world, and
Okay.
it's part of my own personal mission to get more. Um, I feel that the students now, because as I talked about in the past, I was a science teacher for many years, and this is
Okay.
my third year, I believe, going in. I switched. I'm one of those rare people to switch to go from the content team to the unified arts. Unheard of. When
Okay.
I was telling people I was doing, they looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, listen, it works. Like, trust me. I'm going to take this test because I feel like being a sixth grade science teacher, I need to make a bigger impact because once my kids left sixth grade, they're like, we wish you had, we had you next year. So now it's like when this
Oh,
role,
got it.
now I can see
Yep.
kids the whole 3 years out the way. And, I can see them grow, see them mature, continue that bond with them. But it's very important for them to see someone that looks like them or someone of color because I
Right.
think that automatically puts their guard down. And because I'm able to give them positivity and they can relate to me, they feel like, okay, yeah, no matter what. And I share them the same struggles that I have as a black man, because I tell them I'm the person when they get down on themselves. Oh, I'm like school. I said, listen, you're learning from the guy that didn't never wanted to be a teacher. I hated school. Like I wanted to get money, work, go in
It's out
business.
here.
Hey, if I'm like, if I can do it, you definitely could do it because you actually enjoy doing this. So just switching over to teaching computer technology has been amazing because I have a business, Nothing But Web, that I've been running for about 14 years, almost 15 years, where I do web design and business consulting. So it's like when that opportunity came, it's like I could do what I love outside of the school and I'll do it
Yep.
full time and then teach these kids not only how to learn about coding, which is the future, web design, which is what I do, and then they make
Yep.
the connections themselves, and then they can see the different, especially the past 2 years, that different accolades that I've been getting. And because these kids are all on social media and they're quick to Google somebody, it's
Yep.
great for them because then they usually say, "Hey, I'm gonna look you up," because typically
Right.
they look up their teachers and it's like, "Wow,
Can you imagine?
yeah," they like,
Can
"Yeah,
you
I'm gonna look you
imagine?
up."
I'm gonna look you up. I'm gonna
I
Google
can
my
Google you. I'm
teacher.
like, go ahead, go for it. And then the first thing that pop up, like, okay, I did this in the community.
Yeah,
Okay, I
they
have
see
this
they
business.
see what it is.
And then they go, oh, I'm an image search. Okay, image search. And it's like you have me with this award. And they're like, wow, you really are a real life example of what you say you do in the classroom. So I can be able to
Right.
show them in real time, if you can focus on this and you enjoy and love this, this is what you can turn it into. So they see the connection from the outside world and then they see me being myself. Because like I tell them, like I'm an unorthodox teacher, which I wish more teachers would actually be themselves and do it. Like I'm the teacher during observations. Like I will stand on the table, I'll do this, and the teacher, oh no, the other kids don't. I said, listen, I'm going to be myself no matter who comes in this classroom because I
Okay,
got
so we gotta get to that, right? We gotta get to that. How do you, right? This platform is
yes,
about you as a regular person. We're celebrating you for sure. And it's a couple of ways I want to take this, right? Like, first of all, you have school age children that you're a father to,
yes.
as well as being a classroom teacher. So being a teacher and having school age children at the same time, what is that like?
Oh, that's I think is the secret sauce of being a father. And I'll tell you this
Okay.
why. Because most people or most parents only know their kids inside from when they have them at home. I
Right.
had the pleasure of seeing students of the same age range in
Yep.
school. So I know you're different at home than you're different at school. And because I know
Yeah.
that, my kids can't really get away. Like, listen, be honest with me. I know what you're doing at school. Like you're like
Mhm.
one in six, one's going in the eighth. It's like, listen, I know what eighth graders talk about. I know what sixth graders talk about. I know what you're doing. My thing for them is just pushing excellence to them, and then it's excellence for making sure that they're doing their work in school. Both my kids are honor students in school, straight A students in school, and it's like, listen, if you do this, and then just showing them the outside things that I do as well, it's kind of like, all right,
Right.
I'm providing that spark for them. So if I wasn't an educator, it's kind of like, most people, especially middle school age, parents are just, hey, how was your day? It was okay. So my
Right.
kids now they're ingrained, they hate it, but they love it at the same time because they're,
Yeah.
teen, preteen. It's like, listen, I don't accept my day was good. And I'm like, you were in school for 8 hours.
I want to know what happened.
Tell me three things. Tell me what's the best thing, the worst thing, and the thing that made you that. So I'm using the same questioning techniques that I use in school with my students with my kids at home. And so now it's funny because even like with my wife, she'll ask them like, "Oh, how was school?" And I get home, "Oh, they said it was okay." And then I'll go, "Hey, how was school?" And they automatically know.
They're
Best thing of
going
my
to.
day was this. I would change this. And she's like, "How?" She's like, "Why would they tell you that?" I said, "Because I have a standard. Like they know. I was like, because we spend 8 hours in a day. Like I know what these kids go through, the different things." And I said, it's a very
Yeah.
important. Even my students in the class, it's always important to check in with them just to see where they are, where they are
Where they are.
mentally, and everything like that. Uh,
Yeah, so you have to be a special breed of person to teach middle school. We
Absolutely.
have people, we will have people on this platform teaching at all
Yep.
levels, right? And I've spoken to them throughout my career and what I've done. You got to be special to be a middle school teacher, right?
Definitely.
So you got these accolades. You were teacher of the year. You went to state finalists and whatnot. What makes you that great teacher? How do you do it? Like, what's your how do you do it?
All right, so I'll give away my secret sauce. So I did this from day one, and I always do this every single year. At the beginning of the school year, most educators do it the right way. They will have some type of getting to know you activities. I take
Mhm.
these activities, but I expand them. So my goal of every classroom group that I have, now I have different switching, is to always learn, is to make sure I learn three things about that kid outside of school. So
Okay.
now what happens is that kid may have struggle in any type of subject because I've done multiple subjects. Even teaching computer technology, like I can help a kid with math. Like, hey, what's going on? Oh, I can't say this math test. Show me your math. I'll show you. So in my class, when they're doing independent work, I'll pull a kid to side. All right, this is easy. Let me show you how to do this like this. And if they may not have that connection to the content, I'm able to draw on something that they like in the outside world. So, for example, if they like sports, okay, hey, you saw the game. All right, Shea Gildas, he had this particular average score. This is what an average is. This is how you calculate an average. Here's a statistic thing. Or if it's like a writing thing, okay, hey, you may not like to enjoy books, but you like movies. What's your favorite TV show?
Right.
Okay, TV shows come with scripts. So let's act this out. Let's turn this content that we have right here into a script. So by knowing the three different things, that gives me something to draw on them when they had their days when they're up, they had their days when they're down, and when they come in my room, they know they could just be themselves. Like, tell if you're not having a good day, tell me. I'll let you put your head down. That's fine. Let me know. Sit over in this section. We won't bother you over here when you're having a great
Okay.
day. And they know it's drama free. Like they know me. I call it my zen. You come in there's LED lights, is all that stuff. Is like this. And then even with me, which something I came up with when I first got down there. Everything is color coded, so I never raised my voice at any child ever, and I'm proud of that.
Whoa.
Ever,
You teach middle school
ever,
for 19
ever.
years.
They've never
Say
heard
that again?
they never heard me yell at a child ever. I have a color code system, so I explained at the beginning of the year. Red light mean I need your attention. All I have to do is say, "Look up." Hey, look up,
Yep.
look up, look up. So they know I can communicate non-verbally with my kids in the middle of things, especially in doing computer technology because they might have headphones on. So I
All
can
right,
look
so hold
up.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna go back to the never yell.
Go for it.
I, raise your
Never,
voice. Raise your voice.
never.
Okay, put a tone in there.
Nope. And I tell you why, because they've
Okay.
seen me. I'm proud to say I'm a 12-time champion boys and girls basketball at Slade. So they know my basket. They hear my coaching voice. They know how
Okay.
I am as a
Okay.
coach.
So you coach.
And I
Okay.
told them like the day, and I pride myself because raising my voice, especially the kids that we work with in our community, if you get any higher decibel level with them, they automatically shut down because that may be something that triggered them at home. So I'm coming in a calm tone, so they approach me with a calm. Even if they come at me on a 10, I may come at a 4, but I'm not going to raise my voice because I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. I'm going to grade it. I'm going to assess it.
I think that works for anybody, but run by Slade's demographics. What's the demographics of that school?
I don't know the exact numbers, but we're majority Hispanic. If we go
Yep.
Hispanic, we go. Then I think the next maybe Thai population would be European descent,
Yep.
and then we go
Yep.
into African American, and then we kind
Yep.
of
And then you go Asian at
Asian.
the end. So it's probably about 70% Hispanic.
Yes,
What you got going there on minority. So yeah, I think that works for any group. I wish I was able to say the same thing as an educator coming through, right? That I've never had to raise my voice. Yelling as a principal
yeah.
works when something's happening down the hallway or
Oh
when you
yeah,
need to
yeah.
be
You know that type of
stuff like that. You're hey, what you doing? Or going in the cafeteria and be like, hey, what's going
yeah.
on? And then getting everybody quiet and be like, okay, what's good? That type of stuff.
Yeah,
But
so
I feel you
that's
on
the
that.
normal type of stuff for me.
Right,
For
right,
me,
right. But not being mad at
no, it's
someone and
just like,
having
hey,
to
if
lose
I
your
have to
cool.
elevate my voice, it's kind of like, all right, listen, I can, and that's part of the way I love not a relationship. Whether I know a kid from sixth to eighth, so if it's a
Yeah.
target area, I'm the person to go to that target area and go, hey, and they'll look up and see me, and then they'll be like, all right, okay, I got it. Yep, all right,
All right, let me ask you
okay.
this. How do you feel about, especially as a technology person, how do you feel about AI and how do you use it?
Oh, I love it. I love AI. Most teachers, I've been familiar because again, outside of stuff with my business, I've dabbled in some AI, doing some different things. I see where it's going, and in full transparency, that's part of the reason why I made the switch because I'm like, all
Okay.
right, just in like business, just in education, it's like you always got to look what's coming down the pipeline. So I'm like, hey, if I'm teaching this content and this is my value of what I'm doing, and now you have a system where the child can learn the same stuff without sitting an entire lesson. You either got to be very connected with that child to now present a different non-traditional way of teaching them, or why not be the guy to teach them how to use it properly? So that's part of the reason I made the jump. It's like, okay, it's a tool, but just keep in mind it's a tool. It's not an end all be all. So I use it a lot with coding because now part of the coding program that we have with code.org, it was a traditional coding, and then now some of the things that implemented AI into it. So now it shows
Yep.
how to generate code faster, which now gives them one more result. But what it does is it doesn't make the assignment faster. It just extends it. So now it can actually expand and they can actually learn more about it. Um, Kids using it in my class, they ask me about it and they're like, hey, you hate it? I said, I don't hate it. Like I use it. Like, but
Right.
it's an enhancement tool. And I told them like, it's a tool. It's not the end all be all because at the end of the day, you still need to know the content. But if you need an assistant, I said, and I told them, it's like having a personal assistant. Like everybody, you get to a certain level, it's like a personal assistant or somebody you could bounce ideas off of. But at the end of the day, the ideas always have to be original, and you can always tell.
So is it going to end up, or do you have a problem with people using it as a form to cheat, or is it going to replace you someday as a teacher?
See, I think they can never really replace teachers. I think
Mhm.
what a teacher will do, a lot of teachers now are hesitant to change. And I think that is the biggest gripe right now with AI. But I've seen personally just with teachers I work with at Slade, when I first started with computer, because I was in science, I'm using figuring this out. Like I'm the guy using Google Classroom before it got mandated to use Google Classroom because I just love technology. So when it
Right.
came, it's like, all right, and then the kids are like, yeah, Mr. McDougald taught this 2 years ago to us. Like we know how to do this stuff.
Mhm.
So it's always looking at where it's going. I don't think it'll ever replace a teacher, but I think the teachers just have to adapt to it. So now instead of if it's giving you a lesson, which teachers nowadays they can put the lesson in AI, it's all about delivery. It's like I relate it to music, right? You can be a great artist or you can be a great rapper. for example. A great rapper can just read something. A great artist will teach you how to do it and make you feel. So I think if you could be able to put that passion, because AI is soulless, if you're able to put that passion and your own spin on it, I think you could kind of enhance the learning. Because nowadays, kids' attention spans are like this, like they're fast. So how the question is, how do you engage them in learning and keep them engaged? And again, personal connections with them, showing them that it's not taboo. Like, hey, you use it, I use it. This is how I use it in my everyday life. This is how you can use it here, and it's not the end all
Right.
be all. So I think part of one of the lessons that we're doing this year is an AI lesson, and we're kind of rolling it out a little bit more about the
Mhm.
ethical things of AI and how to properly
Yeah.
use it. So that's what last year I started teaching the kids, and this year we're kind of follow and expand that, just kind of teaching that methods to them.
So in going into that, what's the number one tool for you as a teacher that you can't live without, that you gotta have in your classroom? You're like, oh man, this is the best thing that I got, or the platform that you use that is important.
Okay, you ready? YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because my students in my class, we have a point system. Part of my connection thing is they have to do their work to get to something I call Playlist Friday. Playlist Friday is
Friday.
throughout the week they're doing their work, and then they know Playlist Friday is coming on Friday. And the way Playlist
Okay.
Fridays work, there's of course there's parameters. Hey, it has to be a song. The content is has to be clean. I don't care what the words are. I mean, the words, that's a
Right.
non-negotiable. But what is the content of the song? And then now this is where the sauce comes in. You like a song and I like a song too, so I know what the content of the song is.
I know what it's
I
really
know what it's
about.
really
Yeah.
about. We're not playing that, but it's fun. It's fun because I'm like, they'll sit there and I want to play this song, and then I'm doing my Jay-Z thing, like,
Yep.
nope, can't play that song. Nah, can't do that.
Yep.
They was like, no, but it doesn't curse. No, that's not the content. I said, we're in the school, so they always look forward to Playlist Fridays, and I do it through YouTube. So I use YouTube a lot with not only Playlist Friday, but I use it a lot of interaction with the kids. So if they're doing something great, I'll find a YouTube sound clip. Hey, applause, clapping. Or if somebody's doing something, it's funny. Oh, here's the boo sound, or different types of songs. And it's like, as a middle school student, they always want to seem like they're adults. So sometimes it's like when I want to get them engaged, I'll go back to those little elementary songs that they didn't do, and it's like, oh, and then I'll sit there and then watch them sing along to it, and I'm like, see, you guys are
Yeah.
kids, you guys are faking, you guys are kids,
You still
yeah,
kids.
you're still
Yeah. You
kids.
still
So I would
kids.
say YouTube is a tool because that's another nonverbal communication I have with them, and then it also builds interest with them as well. Because I got a whole bunch of songs I learned from these kids in different things, and it's even great even because with the Hispanic population, they'll have a Spanish song, and I'm like, oh,
Yep.
okay. Now AI, Google translate this and tell me what this
Translate
means. What
that
does
for
this
me so you
mean?
know
And
what
then
you're
tell
talking
me,
about.
explain it. So now with a
Nice.
non English speaker, now we have a connection, and I'm like,
You have a
okay,
connection.
this is what this means. And you could do Google Translate, but you could do AI and kind of get it right there.
And lyrics matter.
Yes,
Lyrics matter, and that's vocabulary. Vocabulary and instruction and learning. It's just I love
yes,
it. I love it, especially when it comes to lyrics. It was one episode that I didn't like of Abbott Elementary. We'll get into
yep,
that in a
yep,
second, where they used a song on there, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, I
yeah,
wish they wouldn't do that because that's the one that
yeah.
you got to separate those things
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
when it
and
comes to
I think
entertainment
that
and
comes with,
education.
again, not just being a black male educator, but providing knowing the culture. And I think we knowing the
Right.
culture. So it doesn't matter what your hue of skin is, you still have to know the culture of the students. That's very important.
So let me ask you this: what's the thing that concerns you the most when it comes? What makes it difficult? What's a barrier? Like, what's the hardest thing about doing what you do every day as a teacher?
The hardest thing I would say is trying to get colleagues to wear different hats. And let me break that
Hmm.
down. Um, some people come on with their teacher hat and they don't have the empathy sometimes to
Hmm.
understand that, hey, if a kid is having a bad day, it's normal. Instead of allowing that kid to, they may not want to talk about it, but this
Hmm.
sometimes as colleagues, in this school, other schools I've been in, worked at, and different things like that, they're kind of be like, oh, okay, they look at that as a form of disrespect and sort of giving a kid their opportunity to kind of just take some space. Now we have different things within our district that allow students to kind of, okay, like a CTC corner used to be called. Everything evolves every year, but it's somewhere where the kids can take space and feel comfortable.
Mhm.
What makes it difficult is if I have a student that rotates from another class to me, and the teacher set them up here. Now I have to defuse that situation, but then also I'm responsible for all these students because of my class size. And then how do I get this? Especially if it's two kids now. Now it's like, okay, some days it's kind of like, all right, we got to shut down. Let's figure this out. Circle it up. Let's figure out what's going on just to get to the root problem. And it could be something as simple as, hey, I was chewing gum because I was very upset, and the teacher just told me I couldn't chew gum, and I didn't have the time to explain to the teacher because the teacher's just yelling at me. So I think the
Right.
difficult thing is realizing that one, UA teachers matter because a lot of times they just throw the kids to you. But it's
Yeah.
also difficult because now we get the train for the kids and we don't really get any breaks because it's kind of class after class after class after class. And
Mhm.
now it's like, like for me, my schedule is I do two eighth, two sixth, two seventh. So a sixth grade problem is different from an eighth grade problem. Eighth grade is way different from seventh grade.
Yeah.
And having seventh
Okay.
grade for me last year,
Seventh grade is
yeah,
bananas.
but
So
but then here we go. I had them at the end of the school day. So now
school
I
day.
got my
So
last two periods of seventh grade, and they are just
you got all the
all of them.
problems.
So now sometimes it's like, you know what, guys, hey, get this done, and I'll take you outside, and then we'll kind of look at it, and then we'll come back in, we'll take a break, and so it's kind of
Yeah.
just. So I think the difficulty is just the scheduling and making sure my colleagues understand that these kids are kids too, and they're humans, and
Yeah.
they have the same type of feelings, and we got to respect that. That's a big thing.
I got you. What's the best thing about going to work at Slade Middle School every day? The best thing.
Oh, listen, I'm the biggest flag waver of Slade. Like I've seen
Mhm.
different iterations of Slade, and I'm proud to
Yeah.
say that I feel like Slade is going back up where it needs to be. Like we were
Okay.
here,
Okay.
and then we went down
Yeah.
here, and then we was here. We
Yeah.
stayed here a little bit, and then we had some chat, and then I think we're finally going up. I think the best thing about working at Slade, I would say the community. I would say the
Yeah.
community. The Slade community is a strong community. Um, I personally try to get back to that old feeling of I've been around forever. I'm the young old guy, but when
Yeah.
I got there, it was kind of like, all right, if you're a new teacher, you got this community of teachers that's going to take you in. Hey, don't worry about this. Hey, we'll figure this
Hmm.
out. Hey, don't worry about this. This you don't do this. Don't you can't. And then we went through a period where it was kind of like every man for themselves. Everyone for themselves is kind of like this. Close your door and survive. It's like survive in advance. But now I feel
Yeah.
like because of, and maybe because I'm in the UA community now too, I feel like we are kind of all as one, and we kind
Hmm.
of look out for each other now. And it's kind of like, all right, listen, we're here at one goal. We got to teach these kids. These kids gonna go up, they're gonna go down. But if we stay united as a community, I think we do well. And I think we're going back and we're trending upward with it. We do have some
Yeah.
more work to do. That's just culture and community and climate and different things like that. But I feel like with our new set of administrators now, I think they put some things into place where it was a little tough for I think some of the staff that were there because they're just not used
Yeah.
to their style. Where their style I think
Yeah.
is great. It's kind of like, hey, you want to do it? Try it. If it doesn't work, let me know. And
Yeah.
they're more willing to, I would say, work with you. Which a lot of people are. It's a different it's a culture shock. We had three brand new
Yeah.
administrators last year. And it's funny, I
Right.
joke with them. It's like, hey, remember last year? They're like, we weren't here last year. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys weren't here.
All right. Those people weren't
You
there
weren't
last
here
year.
last year.
But
I'm
I
like,
do
oh
have to shout out your administrative
yeah,
team, at least because climate survey results showed very highly appreciation of the administrative
yeah,
team.
does it?
When we looked at that data at the beginning or at the end of the year into this summer going in
Yeah.
here now. So as the school year, well, I'm not going to ask you that yet. We're going to get into this piece real
Okay.
quick. This
Hey,
is your new
hey, hey,
book
hey.
that you got out right now, Beyond the Bell: How Educators Can Lead, Inspire, and Build Businesses. So you talk about in this book some of the tidbits that you're giving us right now, right? As far as being an inspiring leader and what people can do. But then you get into building your business.
Yeah.
So what inspired? What is this book about? Talk to me.
All right. So, um, this is how the journey I got there. I knew that, hey, I wanted to leave a legacy, leave a mark. And I know the only thing to do it in education, you either have a doctorate or you got to write a book, one of the two.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
but my thing over the years was um, up until, was it 2024? Seems like so far, 20, yeah. When I won, like my thing was, hey, I had the beginning framework of how I wanted to put together a book.
Yep.
But it was like, I need the accolade. Like, this let me win Slade Teacher of the Year. Now I've been, I'll pat myself on the back. I'm the people's champ around, at my particular
Around
school.
Slade.
It is like, hey, it's like always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And it was like, I had to take a look at some things internally, not for me, just the system. And it's like, okay, I get it. Okay, I can see this one. I can see this one. But then when certain colleagues were winning, it's like, all right, really? Like, come on. Like, you're just laughing at me now. And then it's like, it's funny.
19 years. 19 years. I ain't
Like,
winning
I've
yet.
seen every single regime. Like, I've been every
Yeah.
initiative, every this. I'm like I said, like one year at Slade, I ran the multicultural club. I ran boys soccer, girls soccer, boys basketball, girls basketball, track. We have a track team. I was part of like one thing. I had probably 7 different after school activities, and I still didn't win. I'm like, what else can I do? So it's kind of like, it was kind of like those that watch basketball. It was one of those Kevin Durant moments where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not winning in Oklahoma City with content. Let me switch teams. And then once that first
Yeah.
year, boom, it took off. So even with that, it was this crazy because like my first year going into computer technology, the company code.org that we use as our curriculum, I was in a PD one day and then I'm talking to a woman, don't know who the woman is. And then I'm like, listen, our kids can do this. This is what my kids are doing. We need to move faster. Like, I understand what we're doing this PD, but we need faster. Like, give me the more. Like, I need to be able to, like, I got it. My kids are ready and they're receiving this information. I need to go faster. So turns out she ended up being the regional director of code.org. So she reached out to our
Yep.
people at our district, and I got an email. Hey, would you be willing to come out? Willing for us to come to class? And I'm like, open the invitation. Come to my room. I'm me. Just come. I'm gonna show you. So they were like, okay, yeah, we want to come. So they did. They came through one time, just kind of looking around, and then after that, they're like, hey, do you mind if we like come film some stuff? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Go for it. And then
Yep.
it was originally supposed to be B-roll. So, in education, you have watch those training videos, and there's the ones that
Right.
they're just talking over with the people. So while they're filming, the camera crew that came in, they're kind of like nudging each other. I'm kind of watching them. And then they came to me and it was like, hey, we got the agreements for him. I'm like, yeah, they said, okay, we want to use this video of your classroom to now show other middle schools that, hey, middle school kids can code. So in
That's right.
addition to that, so leading up to the end of that year, my classroom made their worldwide publication. So in my classroom, I have the cover and I have the page where I'm featured in their worldwide publication. It is my students from Slade showing them that, hey,
Yep.
listen, our kids at Slade are great. They can do just anything anybody else can do. So
Nice.
so learning that particular thing with the coding, just kind of showing them, and it's like, I don't know. I got off the track. What was your question?
No. It was the book. It
Oh,
was
the
the
book.
book.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got we
So
get the
anyway,
book.
so part of that, so that started happening, and then once I won New Britain City Award, which is being the first annual. They did the 9 most influential African Americans in the city. I was one of them. One of the things.
Yep.
So submitting a profile was kind of hard because you had to give a bio, and it's like, wait, I do this outside of school, but inside of school is this. And it was the first time when people were reading, they're like, wow, you have a business outside of school, and that's when both worlds collided. My
Yep.
outside business hat that I did and my education had
Yep.
collided. So now it's like, okay, how do I create a book that does both? Because I'm like to call myself, I'm like, I'm a person that has many hats, but these particular hats I value and I love. Like, I love being an educator, I love being an entrepreneur. So the book starts off with
Right.
my journey in education, which we kind of cover here. Then it talks about different stories, different tidbits of stories that I had with students in the classroom, different of them overcoming obstacles, just like I had to talk about overcoming my obstacles and everything. And it breaks
Yeah.
down
You've had
and it
some.
breaks down the lessons that I taught the kids or conversations that I had with colleagues in education. And then I flip them and show them how that same lesson there or a conversation related to business. Now, once you get through that part, it then works on, as educators, how do you find your passion? What are you really truly passionate about? Because if you ask an educator, hey, what do you like to do? They're like, oh, yeah, I like to teach. But that's not who they really are. So through scaffolding and questioning throughout the book, I help them find what they're truly passionate about. It's the scaffolding, what they really, so maybe they like cooking and that was their pastime they love to do. So then the great thing,
Listen, you said that. You said that. I hit it right
yeah,
here. Sharice,
yes,
who often seemed disengaged and reluctant to participate in class activities, right? She ended up liking baking. And then what did you do with baking? You started incorporating
yep,
that.
Oh,
Recipe.
right. Listen, you told me you love it, so So once they find a passion, and this is when my entrepreneur hat comes on, um,
Yeah.
teaching them. It's like, okay, so you're an educator, but you have these skills already baked into you because you're doing education. But if you just remove the label, it's really business skills. And then I show them how to turn that passion through step by step, how to write a full business plan in
Right.
educational terms and business terms, and making it relevant and relatable to any type of person that reads the book. So then at the end, the goal of the book, when they're filling out the book, this is a hardcover book, when they're filling it out, you now have your full fledged business plan, which will help you achieve three goals as an educator or somebody. So most educators want to make some more money. Now I showed you how to take your passion for baking and now make additional money. I showed you how to free up your time and create better mental health space for you. So now you can be more creative in the classroom.
Just trying to show that these are pages
Okay,
that you
yeah.
can write on
Yep.
on the book.
So now you can do, and then also ultimately it makes you find what you're passionate about, which will kind of
Right.
reinvigorate your life and find out what you want to do. Because a lot of questions I have from colleagues, they're usually asked like, from whether it's a colleague, administrator, they usually ask the question, which is crazy to me. They're like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" They're like, "Well, we see what you do outside of school. You work with this company or this business. You clearly can do this over here." And I'm like, "I'm here for the kids." Like part of the reason
Yeah.
why I've never had a thought. Everybody comes to education wants to be administrator, but for me, I always felt that as Slade, because I've had offers to go to other districts. It's like I need to be boots on the ground for these kids because if I'm not here, then who's gonna be here for these kids? So
Right. And I love what you said about why you went to UA
yes,
versus a classroom teacher at that specific grade level, right? The bigger
yeah,
impact. I get to see a bigger group and watch these kids grow from sixth to eighth grade rather than that one teacher at that one time. Sort of similar to my pathway to how I went through the administrative ranks to get where I am
mhm,
now. I wanted to make a bigger
and- yep,
impact and stretch around. So I can see what you're saying with that.
definitely.
Um, as we get into uh, getting close to the end of our conversation now, um, how can we find what are what's your total platform, right? What is it that you do? You got the nothing but
I'll
web.
break it down for
You're a teacher. What
you.
else
I'll
you
break it
got
down.
going on that we
So
need to?
so I wear the hat now. I added another one, author, but it's educator, entrepreneur, author.
Okay.
Entrepreneur. I am the founder of Nothing But Web, business consultant of web design. You can find that
Okay.
at www.nothingbutwebllc.com. That's when I work with clients and building their websites and people that have ideas that want to create a business. So I will map
Okay.
out through business consulting with potential entrepreneurs or people that want to get into business when I'm using the same tools and strategies that I do in the classroom. And I kind of get like all my clients, they have homework. I give them homework, and it's like, all right, you had X amount of time to do the homework. You didn't do your homework.
Yeah.
Guess we're spending this consulting session on doing your homework. So that doing with that. I also started about 3 years or 4 years now. Something called the Nothing But Web Entrepreneur Network, which you can find at the same website. The purpose
Okay.
of that was dealing with businesses for almost 15 years. I became the middleman where people call me, hey, do you know a plumber? Hey, do you know somebody that does this? Hey, so I decided, you know what if I put all these entrepreneurs on one platform and make a directory and make it interactive? So now that if you need something, you're part of the network. Hey, I need a baker. Hey, I need someone that makes clothes. Hey, I need an event space. You can find it within the network. And now within the network,
Nice.
I'm putting different articles about entrepreneurship in there, their networking. And me personally, I've probably been to maybe 10, 11 different events that I may know one person, but then I see other people, faces from the network. And a lot of times they say, hey, I met this person in the network. So people have had full events, maybe 5, 7, 9 deep, where they took a graphic designer, they took someone that does clothes, they took someone that has an event space, they took someone that was great in the community, and they collaborated and met within there because inside the platform, there's spaces where you can collaborate with other entrepreneurs and build your own out space inside there. So now they can collaborate and take
Yeah.
notes and keep all their notes and everything they need for it.
So it's a mini social
Yes.
network platform within the
Yes, that
platform.
lives inside Nothing But Web. Yes.
Yeah.
So now it's similar because you can follow people,
Yeah.
you can like, follow people, and then entrepreneurs, you could also sell your products on there too. So now, if you don't have a platform or are not in the space to have a website with me yet, you can now share your link in there. So now people can actually make more money. Because
And how do people get to become a part of that
oh, it's
network?
easy. They just go to nothingbutwebllc.com and they click the entrepreneur network take the
Yep.
link or the tab, and then it drops down, and you can just submit and get a membership and just join.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much for adding that piece in there, man. You wear many, many
Yeah.
hats for
And then the
sure.
last one,
On
yeah,
top
and
of
then
it.
the last.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Look,
ahead.
and then the last one, because you mentioned where can you find a book. So the book
Okay.
right here, Beyond the Bell: How Educators Can Lead, Inspire, and Build Businesses, is available exclusively at my website, cmcpublishinghouse.com. Now, quick story on that, because as you heard in this journey, I'm an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. I created the book, and I did everything myself in the book, other than printing the actual book. Now, I talked to people. I got the book done. I needed the last little pieces or everything I needed done. But the problem is you got to put it out there. Now, a lot of people go to Amazon route. So I talked to different publishers and putting everything out. They got these
Yeah.
terms, like, for example, like, I'll give this little tidbit away. People that go through Amazon, Amazon kind of owns the rights to your book and the barcode in the back. So if you try to put it on another platform, they won't allow you to sell it because of that. Or there's different things. Or
Sure.
people, they
Yeah.
wanted 60%, or okay, we'll take it, but we got to put our signage in the book. And me being the person I am, I decided, you know what? I could do it myself. So I learned how to put it out there, and cmcpublishinghouse.com. CMC is my kids' initials. They both start with C, but CMC, and they
That's
run
cool.
that company. So now when you order a book, they are the people literally bagging the book up, writing it out, filling it out. I drive them to the post office. They walk. The people in the post office know them now. They're like, okay,
Yeah, wait. So how old are your two sons
13
again?
and 11.
13 and 11. So they started earlier than
Yeah,
you.
yeah, they love it.
But you teaching them.
They
That's
love
what's
it. We
up.
just got back from vacation. They're like, Dad, you know how many books we could sell on vacation? So they pack their own books, and it's like, because we have different sales goals. Listen, I went through everything from business lessons, net profit, sales goals. We have our biweekly meetings, even down to they had to interview with me. So I'm like, interview, gave them questions. They had to dress up for the
Oh,
interview.
that's cool stuff, man.
So yeah,
Oh, I wish I had him on. I don't want to tell you go grab him and bring him in, but it's all good. Let me ask you this. I got two more things before I get
go
you out
for
of
it.
here because we've been at it for a minute. But one, so we talk about self care, right, all the time in the education world, SEL lessons and all that stuff. Um, how do you maintain your sanity? Look at all the hats that you wear, and then just being a middle school teacher
Okay.
and being a father on top of that, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that as a black man. How do you keep yourself sane? What do you do? Is it diet? Is it exercise? Is it meditation? Like, what do you do?
So I start my days pretty early, because I like to have that quiet time with myself. I became a runner. I mean, I actually ran in the Hartford Marathon last year. So
Nice.
I took
Okay.
up running.
Wait. What'd you do? You could run, but you did the 5, you did the 12 and a half, you did the full marathon.
Listen,
What'd you do?
the Hartford Marathon, the full. Come on now,
The
yeah.
full?
And it started from a conversation I had with my wife. I'm like, you know what, this year, because I like to do something new, I'm gonna run a marathon. She's like, no, really? I'm like, yeah. She's like, did you research it? I'm like, nope. She was like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. I was like, so what's the
Mhm.
first step? I was like, I don't know, just run. And then when it got to October, it's like, oh, it became a real thing. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
just training throughout Bloomfield. Those people that know Bloomfield, they see me out here running all the time, and it became
Mhm.
contagious. And I see a lot of new runners out here too. So it's pretty cool. So running, that kind of clears my space. I have my headphones in, my phone, running. Sometimes it's like, all right, you know what? I get to that point, and it's like, I need to go for a run, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
If it's raining, drizzling a little bit, I need to go for a run because I need to see everything. I'm not a tread. I like treadmills, but I'm not. I prefer to run outside, and then it's like I can just and take everything. Take those moments, and that's how I keep my sanity. And then also car rides. Like I'm a big, I zone out in the car, kind of like, okay, no matter what, I may turn my phone off for like a 10 minutes block. It's like, okay, let me just drive and experience this drive. No interruptions, whether which
Yeah.
way I'm going. It's like, okay, let me just take this ride and go and kind of listen to music and just kind of zone out. And then I come back to reality. So those are two different things I do.
Got you. So on that zone, I said two more things, but I'm
Come
gonna add
on,
one more.
man. We got time.
Give me something that you're either listening to, watching, or reading right now.
Oh, okay, I got you. So I'm a visual person. So every school
Okay.
year, I'll start off with the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. I start this every school year off because
Okay.
leadership is very important. In order to lead, you got to know how to lead. So I make sure I go over that every school year. I usually read that. I got away from reading, but I was a heavy reader. once I started my book, I'm like, I didn't want any distractions, any words or anything like that.
Yeah,
Like I just
yeah.
knew what a book needed to have, and it's like I knew the format, I know
Hmm.
how I wanted to do it, how I wanted to make it look. So I just kind of took a pause on reading. But I'm a big audiobook. I'm a big physical book, and at most times I'm getting back into it now after my hiatus put my book together.
Now go wait a minute. Go back to that
Yep.
book. Who wrote what's in that book? Why that book?
So this particular author, John C. Maxwell, he has a series. This one's the 21 Laws of Leadership. He also has the 21 ones of marketing. He also has, so it's a different series that he
Ah,
has. Me
I
being
got
an entrepreneur, but I make sure I read this one before every school year, because it's like, if I'm looking for a great leader to lead me in my school, I need to be a great leader myself, because at the end of the day, educators, we're leaders of our classrooms and our communities,
I
and
feel
it
you.
kind of branches
Yeah.
out from there. So I know what great leadership looks like, and I'm not the person that had those conversations with leadership. I'm like, hey, listen, this is what I think. This is my opinion. Like, respectfully, this is my opinion. I tried this. Maybe you might want to tweak this. Like, because again, I'm the young old guy at the school. Like, hey,
Right.
year 9, I saw them try to do this initiative. It kind of went this way,
Didn't
and
work.
if you're trying to get multiple people to buy in, whether it's the kids or the ad staff, maybe add this little piece to it. So it's about leadership, and again, classroom teachers, we're the leaders of our classroom. So why not
I
be?
got you. All
Yep.
right. Let me get you out of here on this. We do our top
Okay.
five. And the top five is top five movie or TV shows about
Ooh.
school.
Okay.
And so you got to give us
I
your
got you.
list, and you got to go from 5 to 1.
Ooh, 5 to 1. All right. I'm gonna go with 5. This is Abbott Elementary. I think Albert Elementary is a great look into the urban school systems from the lens of African American perspectives and of a community perspective. So I like that show, and it's fun.
And it's recent. It's recent and
It's
it's funny.
recent. Okay.
Got
Um.
you. All right, 4.
Ooh. 4. I'm going to movie. Stand and Deliver. So most people have
Okay.
never seen Stand and Deliver. Those that haven't seen it is
Mhm.
about the math teacher in California, and he goes into the community. Ironically, I love that movie because again, that's when I found that movie right when I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be dominant in math. Because of me, I'm like, if I'm gonna do something, I got to be the best doing it ever. So it's like, all right, let me watch that. And then when he did the 9 little trick, okay, 9 times 2, and with the fingers and showing you that, I'm like, that blew my mind. Like,
For sure.
wow,
Yeah, you're right. I got a little tidbit on how to multiply. This is Edward James
yes,
Olmos,
yep.
right? Okay.
So okay, that will go 4. Stand and Deliver. Um,
3.
Number 3, movie, Drumline. So I played an instrument.
Okay. Okay. It's school. It's
College.
college. I
I'll give
got
you
you.
why.
Throw Nicky in
Because
it. I got you.
in middle school, I played the trombone. I made the trombone,
Hmm.
and I dabbled in the music sphere where I produced music and different things like that. So music is music, and it's like, okay, when I go to college, this is what college experience look like. HBC, this was going to look like, and it's like I didn't end up going to HBC. You're like, this looks awesome, that type of thing. Going through there. What is that? 3?
That's 3. So 2.
Ooh, two. Shows. Saved by the Bell.
Oh,
I'm gonna go Saved
really?
by the Bell. I'm gonna tell
Really?
you why Saved by the Bell. I'm gonna tell you, Saved by the Bell was great because growing up in the summertime, when I wasn't working, when I was being a kid,
Yep.
I would spend a lot of summers with my grandmother right here in Hartford, and it's only a couple channels on the TV.
Yeah.
So it's like in the
Yeah.
summertime, it's like, okay, either go outside or do something, and they would just play the marathons over and over again. So I'm like, okay,
Over and over
and this is
again.
before.
Yo,
Oh,
who didn't like Lark
yeah,
Voorhees,
well,
right?
yeah, of
Who didn't
course.
like her in that
Listen,
show,
of
right?
course. It's like, okay, this is what high school looks like. Okay, all right, cool, all right. And number 1, of course,
Number 1.
lean on me, lean on me, lean
Lean
on
on
me.
me.
Gotta be.
Now, why lean on me?
Listen,
Joe
listen.
Clark.
It's more about Joe Clark. It's about even to the classroom. If people watching, I'll invite you to my classroom. If they allow you the security. Right behind my desk, I had a black and white picture of Joe Clark with the megaphone. Um,
The
with the
megaphone.
megaphone. Just that passion. I just want to be that passion of the school. Is kind of like, all right, this is our school, and it's our school versus every other school, and this is what it is. Like these are kids we have. Like they're not changing. Some may move or like
Right.
that, but how do we build a community within the school, within the colleagues, and like, listen, we have one goal, and it's for these kids. So watching that movie, I watch it, quite often. It's kind of like, okay, it kind of centers myself. Like, okay, this is why I'm here. This is my purpose.
What does it? Did that make you want to be a principal?
It did. But again, like I'm one of the like I did want to be a principal, but then it's kind of like, you know what?
But you're good now. You get it. It's okay to be a lifelong teacher too, right? We don't have many of those. Some people get ambitious too fast, and you don't realize this is a long
Yeah,
game. That where it's really where you really make your magic at, or you really feel powerful or passionate about. And some people find that in the classroom
yeah,
more, and that's great. I tell people all the time, what I love the most about everything that I've done was being a
yeah,
principal. Being a principal was golden for me. That was the mark for me. But some people find it as a teacher. I think teacher was very close second. Don't get me
mm,
wrong. Teaching was it. I still talk to some of my students today, but being a principal, I thought I had a greater impact there. Like just like I said with you as a unified arts teacher, having just a bigger impact, seeing all those kids each day.
and then you know what's hard about being a principal though, that would kind of deter me is because I always got a business hat on, and I'm like in
Uh huh.
business, it's like okay, if something's not working, you need to be able to change. There's too much red tape of being principal. It's like you because you
Yeah.
can see it. You know who does what they need to do, who doesn't do what they need to do, and you can put them on a plan, but will the plan work? That doesn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's
barriers and
too many
like you said, a lot of
barriers,
red tape.
It's like I can go home
Yeah.
and it's like all right, okay, like because I know what it takes to be effective, and I know what I do,
Yeah.
but I can also see the greatness in other people, whether it's a colleague or a student. So it's kind of like all right, with the right push, you can kind of get there, but there's just too much resistance sometimes, either red tape to get it done, or people just being reluctant or just comfortable being, hey, I've been a teacher for 22 years, I did it 22 years, this way I'm going to do it, I'm not changing. And it's like you
That's
got to
right.
evolve. You got to
That's right.
evolve with the times with the kids. Like I'm not saying change you, but just change your
Right.
approach sometimes. And some people just
Right.
reluctant.
And you're willing to do that. You're in technology, so you know that's where the game is at, and you're willing to do that. So being comfortable where you
Yeah,
are is much appreciated.
gotcha.
I want to thank you for being the first guest on the Teach One podcast, for coming out and talking to your bonus
Okay,
uncle.
okay, okay.
But no, in all seriousness, man, I really respect you as a leader. Congratulations on all the accolades. Congratulations on the book. Give us one more time about how we can connect
Oh,
with you.
perfect. Go to order the book. Go to cmcpublishinghouse.com. Every book that you buy will be personally autographed by myself. I do have some book signings that I've arranged strategically that'll be coming. Those that see the director's chair, I've shot some commercials that I'm gonna be
I
putting out
see that.
there. Kind of give you the breaking, I took the chair. I took the chair. I'm not done yet, but in a different spots that I talk about in the book, in my life and education, whether it's elementary school, and I reflect in an interview style format of me being
Yep.
in that thing and what I took now as an adult and as an educator from that moment at that time. So that's again cmcpublishinghouse.com. Those that need business consultant or a website, nothingwillwebllc.com. You can Google both. You'll find out. I'm not on Amazon yet. I will probably put it there later on down the line, but
Yep.
I'm big on black owned. So, why not? Like I said, this is my son's, this is their company. Um,
It's their
it's their
company.
company. So you support my kids. Come support my kids.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
I gotta pay them hourly. They get paid. They're not
Yeah.
internships. The kids are growing, so they it's great because show you real quick. It's pretty cool when you can cut a check to your kids from their own company.
Nah, man,
Then they
that's
take it to the
that's
bank and
that's
put it on their
awesome,
own
and
business account.
that is powerful. I just got chills with that, man. That's powerful, man. So again, congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
You're doing a good job. I will see you later on this week, most likely.
Yeah, yeah.
with
I'll
our
definitely find. Yeah, listen.
Oh, so yeah,
Okay.
how do you? I didn't catch this. I'm gonna put it in here
That last
anyway.
question, you missed that one.
Are you excited? The last question, right?
Wait,
The final question.
okay, wait. You're gonna cut this one. You didn't ask me what the goal or something like that, right? You got. Uh,
No, this we go off
okay, got it.
script.
Okay,
We're gonna end up going off script. But I was gonna ask you just about
okay.
your excitement about the new school year, right? Like we got the new school year coming up, man. Like what do you school shop for?
Oh, me? See, I'm the person that goes to the classroom, sets everything up, like 2 weeks before we go back. So then now when we in this week, it's kind of just like, hey, everything go. Um, Main things I shop for. My classroom is usually set for it.
Yep.
I like to fill it up as we go through. So I won't buy the stuff. I used to be the teacher to buy all the stuff, get to Target, Walmart, get all these sales, everything like that.
Yeah.
And then you get to the markets. It's kind of like I kind of allow the class to kind of flow as far as what we need. So me being a unified arts teacher, I have 3 different sessions of what are the 6 kids? I think now 3. Well, yeah, 6 classes, 3 different sessions. So each is crafted uniquely. So what works for one group of kids will not work for the next group of kids. When I was one subject, it's kind of like, okay, I can prepare some science things, different things like this. Now with technology, it's like, all right, you guys come in. Just finding my own personal grants and stuff like that is pretty cool because I have a lot of clients that I work with that are willing to make donations towards my classroom. So it kind of works out that way too. So it's kind of.
But I was talking about.
Me? What do I shop for?
Do you need an outfit? Do you need?
Back to school job? Oh yeah, I'm glad we're going back. Listen. So what I'm going to do, I used to do the back to school shopping thing. Part of UA that I learned is kind of like, Code.org supplied me with a lot of swag, and then we got Slave swag and different things like that. But then also, I work with a company now that does shirts, so it's kind of like I'm gonna bring different slogans or different things that I say. So now I have the ability to even make a better connection with the kids. So now if the kids say something cool, I can now put it on the shirt and put it on the shirt and wear it around. And like, where'd you get that shirt from? Like, hey, you came up with it. Like that type of thing. Yeah. So I have the stuff I need. The basic, basic whatever. But again, I think being a UA teacher kind of unlocked a lot of the personality. I could be me. Like it's kind of like, okay, I can script it though any way I want to. This is just what I can do now, But I'm ready. I'm definitely ready. I'm excited about this school year. It's kind of like, all right, year 3, what happens? It's like I went through the whole first year, got there in this position. It was kind of like, okay, Slaves Teacher of the Year, District Teacher of the Year, and then the semifinalist cohort. We kind of wrapping up now. So for those of you that don't know, when you're a state semifinalist, you're part of this fraternity, and every single month we have these different appointments that we go to. Whether like we just got honored in July at Mohegan Sun, big nice thing. They came, gave us some traditional tribal things. So we've been on different platforms, different locations, and they've been taking us on tour. And then it also afforded us the ability to be able to go have a conversation. So I've spoken to probably like 15 different schools, whether it's teachers or students, just going around having a conversation, telling my story. So I'm excited. So it's like that was this school year. So now it's kind of like, all right, what's going to be next? And I love it. I love a brand new school year because it's exciting because you never know what's going to happen in education.
All right. Well, that was it. I know I went through a lot of last questions, but again, I appreciate you for coming on once again. Quentin McDougald, Slade Middle School, New Britain, Connecticut. Thanks. All right, that's it, man. We're good now. I'm gonna stop the recording. That's a wrap on today's episode. We're grateful for your time and attention. If you know a teacher with a story to share, reach out to us at teach1p@gmail.com or find us on social media. Of course, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, great teachers change lives, one student at a time. See you next episode. Until then, teach one.